Hey y'all, it's Bailey with Reclaim Grace. I'm so happy you clicked on this video today. We are going to be doing 6 Chippy and age projects that I cannot wait for you to see. So we're going to go ahead and get started right now. Our first project today is this wooden primitive cubby picked up from Salvation Army, I believe for $2.99. It was quite dirty and dusty, so I gave it a dust off with my little dusting brush and a good clean with some Windex, getting rid of all the price tags and gunk that has built up on it from hanging out in my workshop. We are going to be using this gorgeous color Basil by Sweet Pickins Milk Paint. This comes in a powdered formula that you have to mix with equal parts water. Some people recommend doing warm water, but I just use my Mr. Bottles water, and that works perfectly fine for me. So I'm going to do 2 scoops of powder and 2 scoops of water. Then I will take my little whisk and whisk it for about 2 minutes and set it to the side and let it thicken for about 10 to 15 minutes. Make sure you always give that 10 to 15 minute window for your paint to thicken up, because if not, it will be a runny mess. This paint is still a thinner paint, so it will take a couple coats to get the finish that you're looking for. So we're just going to apply an even coat of the milk paint onto the cubby. I did tape up the bottom because I wanted that to stay the natural wood look. And y'all know what I mean when I say this. These heart cutouts are not a great seller. So I was thinking about filling it in with some clay, but I decided to roll with it, and it did not become a factor when I got this piece done because it sold right away. So we're just going to go ahead and get this first layer of milk paint on, and I like to immediately come in with my heat gun and dry the milk paint into place. This will give it a crackle of finish and just a aged look because it creates color variances in your paint. I applied 2 coats, and now I'm coming in with my dusting brush to knock away any chip and paint, and a piece of 220 sandpaper to distress the edges and the sharp corners. I love how the milk paint chipped on that copper plate on the front of our cubby. I really like how that part came out. I went ahead and sanded the whole piece so the finish would be even, and now I dusted off that sanding dust, and I'm coming in with Fusion's Agent Wax just to get rid of that chalky appearance. I normally use Sweet Pickins Dark Oil Wax over milk paint, but I decided I wanted to give this a try, and I fell in love. So I'm just going to apply this evenly with a wax brush all over the surface, and then come in and wipe away and buff in that wax with a blue shop towel. I hope y'all's first week of 2025 has been wonderful. I am so ready for a new year. I am saying new year, new me. I'm ready to own 2025. 2024 was a hard year, lots of changes for me, and I'm just excited, super excited to see what 2025 can bring. I hope y'all are ready. I want to grow this channel and just bring y'all as much amazing content as I possibly can. Y'all let me know what y'all think about our first project. I am in love. It sold the very same day I took it to my booth, and I priced it for $32.95. Let me know what y'all think about this one. Our next project are these sweet little angels. I picked these up at Salvation Army for 99 cents a piece, but I'm pretty sure they came from the Dollar General, Family Dollar, something like that. We're going to give them a good clean with some Windex and a shop towel just to get rid of any dust and grime. And then I took them and gave them a quick coat of flat black spray paint. This will help when we come in with our Dixie Belle Patina paint. And we'll give that a good stir. You always want to stir this stuff up before you use it because it settles at the bottom. and we're going to use a chippy brush. We're going to pounce our paint up and down to create some texture like rust would naturally have. I gave both of our sweet angels 2 coats of our Dixie Belle Iron Patina paint. Once I got my first coat on, I did dry with my heat gun in between coats, but that's just because I'm very impatient and I like to work on a project continuously, but you can always set it to the side and let it dry naturally. And here is me applying the second coat of the iron paint. It really grabs onto that first coat, and coverage was pretty good with just 2 coats of paint since I did prime these with the black spray paint. Once I get done applying this coat, while the paint is still wet, that is very important, I'm going to come in with the patina spray in green and heavily mist our little angels. I went a little crazy and misted these very well because I wanted them extra rusty crusty. And then I'll set them to the side and let them dry for 24 hours. 24 hours later, here is the results. Like, there is nothing that beats this, y'all. Nothing. But I forgot to spray my blue patina spray while the paint was wet, so it's fine. We'll go with a second option. This is some dried up farm fresh DIY paint. I added a little bit of water to and gave it a good stir. That's the great thing about DIY paint. It's clay based. It can be reactivated with water. I watered down some of the paint in the lid, and I'm going to come in to the grooves of our angel and just apply some watered down turquoise paint. This will create a beautiful patina finish. Now, here you can go as crazy as you want, or you didn't have to do this step at all. On one angel, I did this step, and then I came in with my mister bottle and just kind of let it run and bead and go where it wants to go. And then another one, I didn't dilute, and I just did this step like this. You can also come in with a baby wipe and dab up some of the excess, but I wanted mine pretty intense, so I actually dried mine in place with my heat gun. A quick reminder for my local people in Eastern North Carolina, I sell all my made-over items, IOD Products and JRV Products in both of my vendor booths. I have that information linked down in my description box. Y'all to go check that out and check out this gorgeous patina finish. I gave these a quick coat of a matte sealer, and here is how our beautiful angels, patina angels, turned out. Y'all let me know what y'all think about these. I priced them for $15.99 a piece. So our next project is going to be multiple projects in one that will come together at the end. I'm starting with 3 rolling pins. This one I wanted a chippy handle, so I'm using that same basil sweet pickings milk paint and giving both sides of our rolling pin 2 quick coats, drying in between with my heat gun so I can get a chippy finish. Our second rolling pin is a newer one I grabbed from my mom's house because I told her of this project I had in mind. I said, Mama, I need a 3rd rolling pin. I only have 2. So she gave me this one, and we're going to age it up to make it look antique with some farm fresh DIY paint. This is that same dried up paint we were using with the patinaed angels. Here is how it looks when it dries down. It does dry down a lot lighter. Here is our 3rd rolling pin. This one went through several different phases. I made this one over last spring and it didn't sell. I gave it a coat of Farmhouse Green by Dixie Belle to start off with, but I was not vibing with that green color and switched to JRV's Cottage color. This is the color Juniper. So once my DIY paint was dry, I'm going to wet distress with a baby wipe just to make it look distressed and a little chippy. And then I used sandpaper for the JRV color, and it brought back all 3 colors on the rolling pin, which I really, really liked. Now we're going to age them up using my Fusion Aging Wax and some Dixie Belle dirt. The Dixie Belle dirt has to have something to grab onto. So I'm going to apply the wax, get off any excess, and then I will dab some of the dust into the crevices and just any area I want to look like it's been grabbed 100 times. So I did the handles, I did the end of the rolling pin itself, like the wooden part, and I sprinkled some of the dust into the actual cracks on the rolling pin. This is going to make our rolling pins look 100 years old, and I love it. The Farm Fresh I did seal with DIY's clear wax and did the same technique with the Dixie Belle dirt. So now moving on, we are going to jump to this wooden antique ironing board. I picked up for $4 at a yard sale about a year ago, and I had it just like this in my vendor booth and it did not sell. So I do not feel bad about making it over. If I had a white milk paint, I would have used that, but I was out and I wanted to use what I have. So I grabbed Raw Silk by Fusion and gave the ironing board top, just the top, 2 good coats of Fusion mineral paint. Here I'm applying that second coat with my sweet puppy dog, Roscoe, making sure I do not miss a spot. Once I gave that paint plenty enough time to dry, I'm going to come in with the 120 grit sandpaper and really scuff up this surface. I do not want this to look freshly painted. I want it to look worn and distressed. So I'm going to distress heavily around the edges and really bring out some of the gorgeous details. I wiped off that sand and dust, and now we're going to seal our paint with Fusion Aging Wax. I'm going to work it into all the dents and nail holes and imperfections in the wood, and then buff it off with our blue shop rag. Look at that difference. Now, I picked this up. This is a plate holder I picked up from Salvation Army for $2.99. I believe it was half off yellow tag that day. And I have some short wood screws. I'm going to attach this plate holder onto the middle of our ironing board. I added my rolling pins into the plate holder and added a white chippy hook to hang a wreath from, and I love how this project turned out. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this project, and I priced it for $120. Y'all let me know if that price is too high, and if it is, what would you pay for it, or what would you price it at your vendor booth? Our next project is this wooden mirror I picked up for $5. It was a half off day at a local thrift store. This is very loose, so I'm going to take some super glue and shove into this crack, and then I'm going to use my CA accelerator and hold the piece of wood firmly in place and spray that accelerator onto the super glue. That dries it immediately. So I used some plastic and some tape to protect my mirror, and I was worried that my milk paint would not chip going onto this wood, so I'm going to seal it first with just a matte spray sealer. I'm going to come in with Sweet Pickins Proper here. This is a gorgeous taupe color that I have never used. This is my first time using it, and I love this color. I did 2 scoops of powder with 2 scoops of water, whisked that up very well, and let it set to the side for about 10 to 15 minutes. And this is the consistency after about 15 minutes. I'm going to use my paintbrush and just slap this paint on, really making sure I get around the edges of that detail work and make sure my paint does not pull in those areas as well. After my first coat was applied, I'm going to use my heat gun like usual and dry in between coats, and this paint started immediately chipping. But that is always such a tease because I know I have to put a second coat on, and you worry that you're not going to get that same beautiful chippiness once you apply the second coat. But luckily I did. I went pretty heavy with my second coat. And so I could try to force some extra crackle. I applied the paint and then immediately came in with my heat gun again and really forced that crackle. I was pretty impressed with the coverage of this milk paint as well. I mean, it just went on super well, and I was just highly impressed with the coverage. Normally with milk paint, you have to do at least 3 coats. So after that paint dried, I'm just going to take my hand and get rid of all the chip and paint. Then I'm going to come in with my Fusion Agent Wax and seal this. And as I'm sealing, some more paint is chipping off, which is fine. Once I have my wax applied, I'm going to come in with my blue shop towel and get rid of any excess and buff that wax in. I got rid of that plastic, and now I'm going to clean my mirror. My mirror does have a little bit of damage to it, but I think that adds to the effect. I love how this came out. I'll probably add a small reef with just a suction cup hook to the glass. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Check out that Chippy paint. I'm going to price it for $45. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this one. Our next project is this metal dry goods container I picked up for half price at Salvation Army. We're going to get rid of that tag and give it a good clean with some Windex. You always want to make sure you start off with a nice clean surface. And I'm going to take out this little piece of plexiglass. That will just be 10 times easier to take out. I'm going to give this a quick prime with some flat black enamel spray paint, just one good coat. I did spray inside of our little canister as well. So here it is after that spray paint is good and dry. We're going to use Sweet Pickins Basil milk paint again. I'm not gonna show y'all how I mixed it up for a 5th time. I switched paintbrushes because this one was just not working, and we're gonna go ahead and apply our first coat of milk paint. Are y'all subscribed to my channel yet? I really hope if you are not, you consider doing so. We are almost at 7,000 subscribers, and I have made a goal for myself to be at 10,000 subscribers by March. So please help me fulfill that goal if you are enjoying this content. I appreciate it. I'm going to dry that milk paint into place so I can flip it around and do the front of our canister. And I will do the same thing, apply a thin layer, and then use my heat gun to dry in place. I did take my time to go around the top section because I wanted to leave the inside that nice, clean, flat black look. Here is how we are looking after 3 coats of that basil milk paint. I am loving the way it's looking. Check out that beautiful crackle. Now I'm going to take a baby wipe and do some wet distressing. I really want to bring out the dry good words, and I just have to apply a little bit of pressure with a wet wipe to get that milk paint to reactivate. And I love how that makes it stand out. I did go around a few of the edges and the little knob and around just some random areas on the tin. We are going to seal this project with Sweet Pickins Dark Oil Wax. You always want to give it a good shake. I pour some out in a little cup, and I'll use a throwaway chip brush to apply the finish on in an even way, just really working it into the crackles, a nice thin even layer, and then I will let it sit for about 15 to 20 minutes and then come in with a blue shop towel and buff off any excess oil. I really like how this dark oil wax deepens the color. It just makes it look more old and more vintage. I just really like the effect of this dark oil wax. You normally see me use this finish method when I use milk paint, because it's highly recommended that you use an oil wax or a just regular wax when you seal your milk paint, because if you use a water-based finish, all your paint might chip off. So just keep that in mind. I'm going to place this piece of plexiglass back into our top, and here is our finished project. I love how it came out. I priced it for $25. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this one. Our last project is this wooden duck bowl I picked up on the 301 yard sale. I believe I paid $10 for it. I fell in love with it, and this project gave me a time, y'all. It was stained with a dark oil stain whenever I bought it, and I gave it a coat of flat black spray paint because I knew that stain would bleed through my milk paint. And I'm not sure if that's what caused the major chippiness that you'll see later in this project. But for right now, I'm just going to apply a few coats of Creamy by Sweet Pickins milk paint. Being careful when I go around the glass eyes, because I do want to leave those paint free. Here is how we are looking after one coat. Not too much chipping, just a little bit, some gorgeous crackle. And now I'm going to apply my second coat. And this is when the chippiness really took place. Sometimes milk paint is very unpredictable. You just never know what's going to cause it to chip off. But you know, some people might not like this extra chippy look, but I'm fine with it. I love it, so I embraced it. I'm going to use my dusting brush just to get rid of any of that chip and paint, and some light grit 220 sandpaper just to distress around the edges. I'm going to use the Fusion Aging Wax again. This has probably been my best friend in today's video. I'm going to buff that all over our wooden duck, and then I will come in with a blue shop towel and a little bit of DIY clear wax just to get rid of some of that darkness, and it kind of works as a little bit of an eraser and evens that finish out. And here is how our wooden chippy duck turned out. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Is this too chippy? Is it just right? Y'all let me know y'all's thoughts down in the comments. I'm going to price it for $35.99. I hope y'all enjoyed today's video. I had so much fun creating these old chippy worn looks for y'all. I just highly enjoy the vintage vibes and creating those vintage feels. Y'all let me know what project was your favorite down in the comments, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye.